In this video, I'm going to make motivational speeches randomly on the fly out of randomly generated words. If you've seen my videos before, you know that I like recording or making videos that are motivational, inspirational, encourage people to think differently. But literally randomly today, I was like, what if I just took random words and tried to make speeches or make them motivational? And so that's what I'm going to do. I have no idea how this is going to go or how this is going to work, but I have a random noun generator up on my computer here. I'm just going to click through and let it give me some randomly generated words, and I'm going to try to make a speech about that word or relating to that word or relate it to life or how you can be better in some sort of way. I don't know. There's going to be no cuts in this video, so you can see it in real time. I'm not planning or scripting these, literally random words, and we're going to try to make something motivational out of these random words, so let's do it. I'm going to click each word or generator 5 times, so every fifth word I'm going to make a speech about, just so it'll show some sort of generation. You get the idea. All right, let's click through it. Here we go. The first word, I have no idea how this is gonna go. Well, let's see, let's have fun. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mud. All right, motivational speech about mud. Look, life is kind of like mud, right? You think about mud as this thing where you get stuck, right? You get stuck in the mud or you fall in the mud. But when you fall in the mud, what do? You can get discouraged that you fell in the mud, or you can get up and clean yourself off and keep going. Right? When too many people fall in the mud of life, things get them down, or they make a mistake, or somebody else hurts them, or something happens that is not what you prefer, right? Nobody prefers to fall in the mud, and yet sometimes it happens. But when it happens, what do we do about it? How do we respond to it? Right? Life is 10% of what happens to us, and 90% of how we respond or the meaning we attach to those situations anyway. So when you get down in the mud, when you fall in the mud, don't let it keep you down in the mud. Too many people get knocked down and it lets them stay down. But at the end of the day, failure is not getting knocked down, but failure is choosing to stay down. So whether you're down in the mud, down in the dirt, down in the ruts, or struggling in life, don't stay there. It's about continuing to move forward, continuing to press forward, no matter what. All right, so something kind of like that, I guess. Mud was kind of a fun one, but we're going to keep going. We'll generate a few more words, and just like that, I'm going to try to say something inspirational or motivational using that word as a cue. So here we go. We're going to click 5 more times if I can find my mouse on my computer here. Here we go. All right, 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sir. Okay, this is going to be a strange one. Look, life is kind of like the idea of sir, right? Sir is a title that's addressed. You can call somebody a name, you could call me Zach, or you could call me Sir Zach. And sir sort of implies his status, right? So when you think of status as related to something like sir, how are you holding a level of status in your life? And I'm not talking about status as far as how are you better than other people or how are you seen as higher or successful, but I'm talking about status within yourself, right? When you think of yourself, do you think of yourself as somebody who would be addressed as a sir or a ma'am or by a specific title, or do you think of yourself as just a person, right? Because here's the thing, is that we often tend to, or others rather, tend to see us the way that we see ourselves. So how do you see yourselves? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as somebody significant that would be worthy of a title like that, or do you see yourself as a nobody? Because the truth is that you are a unique, special, incredible, amazing human being, the likes of which have never ever existed and never ever will. And yet, here you are, nonetheless. So you deserve the title. You deserve to be called or addressed however you want to be called or addressed. And at the end of the day, that recognition has nothing to do with whether or not you see it. It is there, it is inherent, and it is true of who you are. So, go by a sir, go by a ma'am, go by any title that you want, because you are worth it. All right, that was kind of a tricky one, but we did that. Here we go. Let's do another one. These are fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going with wood. All right. Life is like wood, right? You think of wood as being some sort of structure, right? Houses are made of wood. Buildings are made of wood. Machines, I don't know a lot of machines that are made of wood, but wood is something that holds things together. But wood is strong, right? Wood can be strong depending on what sort of tree or thing that you take it from. But I want you to think about what is the substance, what is the structure, the foundation even for what is holding your life together, right? Wood can be the backbone of a building or the backbone of a structure, but what is the backbone of your life? What is your life predicated on? For many people, that backbone is the idea of your purpose, right? That thing that you live for, that thing that drives you, that thing that fuels you, that thing that wakes you up in the morning. And some of you may know your purpose and some of you may not. But if you don't, that's okay. Because not everybody just knows their purpose. Not everyone just wakes up with the revelation of this is my purpose, but sometimes people have to find it. Right? In the same way that, a builder might decide, do I want to build a house out of wood? Do I want to build a house out of brick or stone? Or how do I want to build my house? You got to decide, how do you want to live your life? What do you want your life to be about? And the beautiful thing is it can be about whatever you want. In the same way that, you could build a house with whatever material you want, whether it's wood or whatever. You could make your life about whatever you want. And that's the beautiful thing about life, about reality, is you get to create your reality, you get to create your purpose and be the person that you want to be in this world. All right. That was fun. Let's keep this going. That was a speech about wood. I didn't think I'd be giving a speech about wood, but here we go. Do another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Length. All right. Well, life is like length because it has a length, right? Life has a length. You have a beginning and you have an end, but it's not about how long it is. It's about what you do with that life that you have, regardless of its actual length. Right? Someone once used the analogy of, on a tomb or on a gravestone, you have two dates, right? It's the year you're born, you have the year that you die, and then you have the dash in the middle, right? You went from this year to this year, but it doesn't matter how much time you have. What's important is that dash. Live for that dash. Live for the substance, right? It's not about, how many years are in your life, but how much life is in your years. So regardless of life's length or how much time you have to live, make the most of that time. Fill your years with memories. Fill your years with love. Don't stress or fret about things that really aren't going to matter anyway. But live life to the fullest. Make the most of your life regardless of its length. All right. This is fun. Let's keep this going. Here we go. Let's do another one. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Definition. Okay, sure. All right. Life is like a definition in that you can define how you want to live your life. Right? Think about this idea of, who do you want to be or where do you want to end up in life? Most people don't define it. And most people, or everybody rather, gets somewhere, but most people get there by accident. Most people just sort of stumble along through life and they just sort of end up wherever they end up. But if you don't know where you're going, any road in life will take you there. So it's important to have that definition, have that purpose, have that goal, have something to strive towards in life, right? Life is not about just completing the destination, but it's about enjoying that climb, enjoying the process. The definition that you give to what you want your life to be about is what's so important. And if you don't define that, then you'll just sort of get anywhere by accident. But live life intentionally, not passively, right? Because at the end of the day, your life or who you are is going to be shaped by either the life that you intentionally create or define or the things that you just passively allow or permit, right? So live that life with that intentionality, have that definition, create your purpose, and live life your way. All right. This is fun. Let's keep this going. Here we go. Definition was a pretty easy one, but let's keep rocking it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Life is like math. All right, here we go. Life is like math, right? There's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of adding. There's a lot of subtracting, multiplying, dividing. But, depending on the equation or the problem you're trying to solve, you might need to use a different level of operation. And it's the same thing with life, right? You think about different skills or different things that you might need to learn or become throughout life. Different tasks are going to require different parts of who you are. There are some times where you may need to add, sometimes you may need to divide or multiply or subtract or even do some crazy calculus, right? But at the end of the day, if you don't know those skills, then you're not going to be able to solve that problem, right? You can't just jump straight to calculus if you haven't learned algebra, or you can't learn algebra if you haven't learned just, basic essential math, right? Division, subtraction, you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, how are you teaching yourself those skills? How are you equipping yourself with those ideas to be able to solve the problems of life? In the same way that school teaches you math and you got to learn math, what do you need to learn in the school of life? Do you need to learn how to be more confident? Do you need to learn how to speak in front of other people more? Do you want to learn how to be more empathetic, how to relate to others, how to have a full and more fun conversation? We spend our time in schools learning all of these skills like math or history or science and these topical things, but what do we need to learn in the school of life? Because there are a lot of these things that are so important that we're never taught. And yet, if you never actually seek them out, you may never actually learn them. It's the people with the most intentionality that have that drive, that want to learn those things, that become good at those things. So even though school may teach you math and require you to use math, there are times where you use it and times where you won't. But When you think of something like being confident or being certain or relating to others or having people skills or emotional maturity or emotional intelligence, those are things that you need to seek out and learn yourself. So you may have had teachers that have taught you math, but who will teach you the lessons of life? Who will teach you how to become the person that you want to become? That's up to you. All right, that one was a little bit trickier. You probably could see my thought process of like, all right, where do I want to go with this? But we got somewhere, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Let's keep it going. Let's do another one here. We got, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woman. Okay. I gotta be careful with this one, don't I? All right, life is like a woman, right? When you think of a woman, what do you tend to think of? Right? You tend to think of someone who's very loving, very caring, like the motherly type figure, right? And there are some women who are like that, and there are some that are not, but that tends to be the sort of general, conception or idea of a woman as someone who's very, very caring and loving, right? So how is that something that you are modeling after? How is that something that you are living your life in a way that represents that care and love, right? And I think it's easy. I can relate to this idea that it's easy just to go and to strive and to try to be successful and achieve and do things. But when you leave out that love and that care in life, it's less special, right? So whether you are a woman or whether you want to share your life with a woman or whether you even know a woman, right? We all either are a woman or came through a woman. We all came through a woman either way, right? But when you think of this idea of this personification that woman represents, of course, men can be loving and caring too, but again, we think of women as this motherly figure that represents that. So how do you have that in your life, or how are you modeling that in your life, or how are you being the person that cares and loves in a way that a mother would love? And whether that's towards your family or whether that's towards friends or whether that's even towards people you don't know, whether that means smiling at a stranger or whether that means being kind to the person at Starbucks when you're getting your coffee, whatever that may be, right? How could you treat people in a way that, a mother or a woman may treat her child, right? You obviously don't have that same relationship, but thinking about the fact that everybody's a human being, everybody has a mother, right? Everybody came out of a mother or a woman. So how can we treat people with this same just love and care and tenderness that we think of when we think of a woman? So that was a little bit of a strange one. That wasn't perfect, but again, it's all on the spot. It's all improvised, all on the fly. So let's do another one. Let's keep it rolling. My mouse was already on and I lost. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Life is like a king. All right. We went from woman to king. Here we go. Life is kind of like a king, right? You think of a king as being someone that rules over, that presides over a kingdom. And you are a king or a queen of your own life. You preside over your life. And a lot of times we tend to think of our life in terms of how other people want us to live it, or what's normal, or what should you be doing based on what other people do, or what's good on social media or acceptable. But you are the ruler of your life in the same way that a king rules over a kingdom. So you get to determine what you want to do. And you don't have to do anything that you don't want to. The only thing that everybody has to do is die eventually. But as far as what you do while you're still alive, that is up to you. You don't have to work a 9 to 5. You don't have to just get married, have a house and a steady, easy job at an office, right? You don't have to do any of that, even though that can be the cliche, or think this idea of, if you live in America, the American dream of, right, go to college and you get in all this debt, and then you get a job to pay off all this debt, and you buy a house, and then you gotta keep working to pay off that mortgage, and you get married and you have kids and you have pets and you have sort of just this cliche suburban life, keeping up with the Joneses, right? But that doesn't have to be your life. You are the king or the queen of your life, and you get to decide how you want to live it. You reside over your life in the same way that a king resides over their kingdom. So be the ruler of your life and live life your way. All right. That one felt a little more smooth than the other one, but let's keep it going. Let's do a few more here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A song. I love this. Life is kind of like a song, right? You think about a song as something that brings people joy, right? A song is music. A song is a message. A song can express emotion, right? But when you think of a song and how you experience a song, or if a song comes on even, you have a choice of what to do when that song comes on, right? You can listen to it, you can sing it along, or you can dance, right? And here's the thing. if you're in a club or you're in a bar, you hear the music playing or the songs playing, you don't necessarily get to choose the songs or choose the station. Or if you're in there listening to the radio in your car, again, you don't necessarily get to choose the songs that come on. And sometimes that's true of life, right? That we don't always get to choose what happens to us. We don't always get to choose the things that will go on or the way life will unfold. We can certainly make a lot of choices. There are times where we can choose, just like there are times where we can choose from our own music library of the songs we want to hear. But there are also times where the songs are just going to play and they're out of our control. But at the end of the day, it's not about necessarily always being able to control the music, but it's about how we respond to the music. The music may not always be our favorite songs or songs that we like, but we always have the choice to sing along or dance anyway. So when life throws you songs that you may not like or throws you situations that are out of your comfort zone, rather than complaining that you don't like the music, how do you learn to embrace the songs of life, even if they're not necessarily your favorite, and learn to dance anyway, even if life is something new or something uncertain? That's what life's about. Not about controlling the music, but about learning how to dance to whatever song life plays. All right, that was a fun one. I like this analogy of, life being like a song. It's pretty cool. All right, here we go. We'll do 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bath. All right, life's like a bath, right? Think of a bath as something that you do to clean yourself off, right? If you're dirty, if you've had a long day, then you clean yourself off. But sometimes a bath can be relaxing or enjoyable, right? That's why you take a bath instead of a shower. A shower is sort of the standard one that most people do. But when you think of a bath as a way that you clean yourself off, right? In life, we have things that happen to us that sort of leave, these scars or leave us feeling dirty or leave us feeling, not whole or not clean. And yet, a lot of times we tend to just ignore them or brush them off, or we just try to keep going, right? But imagine your life if you never took a bath or you'd never take a shower, right? You'd stink physically, and yet there are a lot of people who never clean themselves off emotionally, and they're walking around and they stink emotionally in the same way that someone could physically if you never took a bath, right? So at the end of the day, whether you clean yourself off is something that's up to you, whether you do it physically or whether you do it emotionally, dealing with the things that are holding you back, right? Going to a therapist or talking with somebody about the things that are holding you back, don't let yourself stink in the same way that you wouldn't physically, but yet people tend to ignore that same idea emotionally or mentally, right? So in the same way that you would take a bath or a shower if you hadn't in a while physically, make sure you have some sort of routine or structure where you're cleaning yourself emotionally, being that person that you want to be, living that life that you want to live, and not being held back by sort of pushing everything down and letting that stench or letting that dirt grow, but allow yourself to be clean. And sometimes a bath takes longer than a shower, and sometimes it's necessary, right? So sometimes it's going to take longer to clean yourself off, but it may be necessary to live the life that you want to live. So give yourself an emotional bath if you need to. Talk to somebody, go to therapy, get help. There's no shame in seeing a therapist or working through your issues or problems, because we all have them. But it's the ones who are the most emotionally mature that decide to do something about them. Just like we all get dirty, but it's the ones who are the most responsible that are willing to clean themselves off and bathe or shower consistently so that they don't stink. So take that responsibility and make sure you're taking care of yourself, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally as well. All right. Now it was maybe a little bit of a stretch, but that was fun. All right, here we go. Final one, final word. Here we go. I'll click this generator 5 times. Take the 5th word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Life's competition. All right. It's a good one to end on. Life's kind of like a competition, right? Or is it really a competition? Because most people tend to look at life like it's a competition. How can you be just as good, if not better, than the people around you? Looking at social media, comparing yourself to the people that you see, the pictures you see, whether you look like a certain person, whether your body is okay, whether your job is okay, right? When we meet somebody, what do we ask them? What do you do, right? So that we can assign status to what people are, and we judge them, even if it may not be positive or negative, but we're assigning judgment to ourselves and comparing ourselves to the people around us. But life is not a competition, because success is nothing to do with what other people do. Success is everything to do with what you feel called to do. Success is everything to do with what you are capable of doing, because not everybody is capable of the same things. So Stop seeing yourself as a failure just because somebody else is successful. Define your own definition of success. Because again, success has nothing to do with anybody else and everything to do with you. It is not a competition. Some people are going to live longer than you and some people will not. Some people will be more successful than you and some people will not. There's always going to be someone doing better and there's always going to be someone doing worse. It's not a competition. Who cares what the people to your left are doing? Who cares what the people to your right are doing? Who cares what people on social media are doing? Life is not a competition. Life is a journey that everybody takes at their own pace. Some people are further ahead in some areas and further behind in others. And yet when we compare ourselves, when we make it about a competition, then everybody loses because nobody has it all figured out. Nobody has all the answers. Everybody is still struggling. That's okay because it's part of life. It's part of the journey. It's part of what we're doing. Not a competition. Life has nothing to do with competition. And life has everything to do with completion. It's about feeling, it's about being complete, making the most of your life regardless of what other people do. All right. That's the video. That was randomly generated motivational speeches. Let me know what you thought of this video. If you watched it all the way to the end, you're the real MVP. Should I make another one of these videos? Should I do this again? This is pretty fun. Just a spontaneous, randomly making speeches or ideas or motivation around randomly assigned words. So hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching. Until the next video, remember, life's not a competition. All right, goodbye.